Welcome to the Boys of the Blue Triangle Men's Skill Set. This is month 1, dealing with fundamental physiology. Week 4. Armour plating your mental health. Topics covered are mental health versus mental illness, depression and anxiety, helping yourself, help from others.
Now, in the pre-game warm-up for Game 4, let's have a look at our mental health. So as a playing group, how do we go in the mental health stakes? Now, our mental health encompasses a cluster of things related to our level of psychological distress. Now, these might include depression and anxiety, which could be thought of as a spectrum of disorders, which could range from very mild right through to very severe, all of which can affect our general health and well-being, and all of which are treatable. However, if it's not detected, it can't be treated. So some form of screening measure is needed, and the K10 questionnaire is a good place to start. Developed by Professor Kessler, it's the Psychological Distress Scale from Harvard Medical School in Boston. Now, it's available online at Beyond Blue and is issued and used worldwide. It asks about how you have felt over the last 4 weeks and is very simple to use. This helps us understand the signs and symptoms of depression. Now, depression affects both men and women, but with different experiences and responses. About 1 in 4 women in adult life are diagnosed with depression compared to 1 in 6 men. However, 4 times as many men than women take their own lives. So obviously there is a huge underdiagnosis or misunderstanding of the mental health challenges facing our men. This may be in part due to the way us men are more likely to describe the physical symptoms of depression as feeling tired and needing rest, but not recognise the emotional ones, thus declaring irritability and anger instead of feeling low or helpless. So we don't even know we have a problem, and we even manage to convince our doctors of that. In addition, women tend to cope better by talking early on about the way they feel, sort of unloading and venting, which we know about a lot, don't we, fellas? Whereby us men go straight into solution mode, and we miss out on the cleansing effect of the venting. Now, depression in men is in part due to the age-old solutions focus that we think we need to have for every situation. And in addition, the male endocrine system, the system of hormones and glands, goes into overdrive as we feel, well, it's got to be up to me, I better do all this. And almost 100% of men suffering severe depression also experience erectile dysfunction, as if we need that as well. So in the true solutions focus, we self-medicate with alcohol and other drugs to somehow get through. But it nearly always makes things worse, doesn't it? Now, because we feel alone and under-resourced in the battle, we become quite pessimistic about the future. But it doesn't have to be like that. Optimism can be a learned response. Now, a fellow called Martin Seligman, professor of psychology at Pennsylvania University, formed the positive psychology movement 30 years ago. And I've been following his work closely. He now promotes the PERMA process. And PERMA stands for the P, positive emotions only. Engagement in your own way. The R for relationships building. The M, meaning to your life and achievement with all of these things. And I want to share with you this PERMA process because it is the distillation of 30 years of work from Professor Seligman, and it works wonders. Now, in the P part, only let positive emotions enter your headspace. Remember how we try to mould our kids You know, the 50 strokes to one poke idea? Well, that's the same with our adult male brains. Good vibes equals positive neural pathways and positive peptides in the brain, resetting our expectations upwards. And negative thinking does the opposite, resets your expectations downwards, a downward spiral. So don't let the bad news get in the way of the good news. It will change the way your mind works and the way your brain operates. Now, a secret weapon in this is to write down at bedtime 3 things that went well today and why they went well. Write down that at bedtime so that in the REM sleep we spoke about in the last game, where memory is consolidated, in the REM sleep, the positives that you write down get laid down in long-term emotional memories and are the things that come back readily in the future. Now, the E is for engagement, and engage at optimum level by using your higher strengths to perform what you do every day, even if you think it doesn't require your higher strengths. Use your own way of communication to best effect, especially when trying to help others. Those people who know you know how you communicate, and there are special skills you have. Please use them. Now, the R in PERMA is for relationships, and relationship building for most blokes is one of life's greatest challenges, isn't it? We're always accused of not doing well here. But once you get the hang of it, it is one of the most rewarding skills you can have. Healthy relationships are a protective factor against depression. Relationships based on trust and open communication are less likely to break down. So find someone you feel you can talk to and build the skill of talking about and sharing what's going on in your mind. Healthy relationships may still involve some level of conflict, but how the conflict is contained and resolved, that's the important thing. And of course, no relationship is perfect. The M for meaning. And meaning revolves around belonging to something in the world that is bigger than us and will be around long after we've moved on. And that thing is stronger because of what we did. It does something deep down when you know in your heart that the work you did at the footy club fundraiser, or with the kids' junior development, or if you stood in at a charity collection day, or cut a load of firewood for a struggling family, or cooked a meal and delivered it to the Benevolent Society. Doing these sorts of things gives back to the community that looked after us when we were kids. It's what footy clubs did for their own town when my famous grandfather was about. Those men left behind better communities than they were born into, and they felt that deep down. What you do is really what you are, isn't it? Well, the A is for achievement. Achievement occurs only with determination, which is known to account for much more than IQ alone. You now have the information you need to achieve better health and fitness for yourself, your family, and your community. So now the determined action you take will amount to your achievement, and that's the best chance of a bright, optimistic future for you and those around you.
Where and when to ask for help. Run through the Kessler K10 scale occasionally, and if you find a jump in scores, then don't keep it to yourself. Start a conversation. Do the same for your mates if you notice them suffering as well. Australian-based websites that may help are Beyond Blue, Speak Up, Stay Chatty, and Men's Line. Now complete the quiz that looks at this video and return the results.